Welcome back to In Focus Kentucky. On this episode, we're discussing the Breaking the Bronze Ceiling campaign in the city of Lexington, which focuses on the historical importance of the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote. And recently, the first public statue honoring a woman was unveiled in Lexington. And joining me now to talk about all the planning that went into this project is Victoria Meyer, chair of the Lexington Women's Recognition Garden. Thanks so much for joining us here on In Focus Kentucky.
Thank you, Mario.
And talk about some of the process of why it took so long to get a public statue here in the city of Lexington.
Wow, that's interesting. You know, originally there was a statue called Woman Triumphant in the old courthouse that's recently been remodeled, but she was destroyed at one point. So since that time, we've not had a statue of women. And in 2015, the Human Rights Commission, Kentucky State Human Rights Commission, did a study of all the statues of women on public property, and there were hardly any. And we had some saints at churches and such, but not on public property. And so they, in August of 2015, issued a call to all the communities in Kentucky to erect more statues signifying women on public property. And they, of course, worded it very well about essentially that hashtag, if I don't see it, I can't be it. And you know, if young women don't see women in successful leadership positions, we can't inspire them to do so. And we need, really, in our communities, the help of everyone. So that's how the Women's Garden had already been started, and then as a group, we started looking for a statue to erect.
And why was it something that you wanted to get a part of and in front of to help kind of see this process out?
Because it has to be. It just has to be. It was a gap in this beautiful city, this beautiful home we call Lexington. It was a gap. I'm the mother of 3 daughters, and to see no images of women in successful roles and just inspiring you to be the best you could be. And there are so many women who throughout history have been really effective in making Lexington the community it is and continue to be. And so at the Women's Garden, we already had been honoring sort of everyday heroes, those women who are Girl Scout leaders and hold a full-time job and have 3 kids or 4 kids. So we had been selling bricks and memorializing those women on there, and so it was just kind of the final path that led to having a statue that would represent all women.
And talk about that statue. How was it selected, and what is the statue for people that aren't aware?
So, this will be something Amanda, I always say, when we met Amanda, the magic began. And she represents all women. She honors all women. She's a part of nature. She came from a stick that they found by the Ohio River. And we have been looking at other female sculptors, and the bonus was that Amanda was already located in Fayette County, and the sculpture was not delicate so that it could survive being on public property. You can imagine the process that you have to go through to put anything on public property, as far as safety and engineering and arts board approval. And then we are in a public park, so we had to have our Parks Board approval. There were just a lot of kind of hoops to jump through, if you want to say. Although I don't want to exactly say hoops to jump through, because it's very edifying and you learn a lot, that experience, and certainly I had never done anything like this. And so all of those people who were in those roles trying to keep us on the straight and narrow, I really appreciate them.
And obviously there were many months of planning to get towards the big unveiling ceremony that took place recently in Lexington. So talk about some of the excitement of just that actual day coming together, but then the day is here, and then you have tons of people. I was there to see the unveiling. So talk about that and just the excitement surrounding that.
Oh my gosh, for me it was the best Mother's Day ever. I had my 3 daughters there, and everyone was helping, and all my friends. And all of my friends' mothers were represented in the bricks around us. It was just a spiritual event. Just really felt like I was in a sacred place and some place where I was supposed to be. Yes, it always takes a lot of planning to put on any kind of event like that. Again, shout out to Parks and Rec, who helped us with tables and chairs and planning and all that kind of stuff, and microphones, and all the women made the food, and we lots of the community contributed as far as items for the silent auction. All of that kind of thing just really did come together. The event itself came together pretty good. It was just like you would have a potluck at your house. You know, planning the construction, and people even contributed in that, and engineering, that was hard, and certainly raising the money was hard. And people can still contribute if they would like to contribute to the garden. But the event itself was like having a potluck at your house. People just showed up, and it was just delightful. We had musicians, local musicians. It was a lovely day.
Now, would you say the statue represents all women?
Yes, she honors all women. She's a sacred dancer, and you can see that was the original idea that Amanda and her daughters had, that the stick looked like a dancing lady, and so she added to it. And yes, and she just fits in the garden. I went the next day after she was installed and looked at her, and she's just staring into the setting sun and looking up at the sky. She really is a sacred dancer. She looks like she's got movement and motion to her in situ. You know, it's just beautiful. Another surprise we had that day was Amanda has put a little bird bath here on the back of her, where it can fill with water and birds can sit there. So that's another exciting part of bringing her back to nature. She's just really part of the garden and looks like she was always there and belongs there.
Very eye-opening for sure. And thanks so much again, Victoria, for joining us on In Focus Kentucky.
Thank you, Maria.
Absolutely. Now, coming up, we'll speak with the artist behind the Katsina sculpture, the very first public statue of a woman in the city of Lexington. Stick with us. You're watching In Focus Kentucky.